Well then, it's time.
Back for another week. Obviously not much college recap this week.
No.
This week's show, as you can see by the title, is about NFL frauds. We will pick up a little bit of the NFL playoffs, but there is some fraudulent behavior happening in the NFL. And then we'll obviously get to our news and Twitter. There's a lot of it, and some of it is good and some of it is sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Good, bad, and sad.
So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to let you start the recap while I shoot this out to everybody so we can hopefully get a listener or two.
Absolutely. Start out, only college football game of the week last weekend was the Army-Navy game. And if a game could have ever lived up to an expectation in all of the wrong and right ways, the Army-Navy game was that.
They did it. It did its thing.
Came out, Navy dominated first quarter. Looked like eventually that they'd just figured out a way to just kind of handle the game. Never going to be a blowout per se, but Army couldn't do anything. Then they blocked a punt and got a little momentum. And then it was 10-10, and we were headed for overtime. And that under of 32.5 was looking just beautiful.
Just like on track. Like how would it not?
Right.
Oh.
But, I mean, I'm talking probably second quarter as we're headed to halftime, obviously looking for another score going into half. But I'm thinking at that point, the only way this is getting to the over is overtime.
Yeah.
And so I'm in and out, watching a little bit here and there.
Excited about life.
And then not able to watch the overtime or anything like that. But the fact that they both got touchdowns in overtime, which was impressive in its own right for the way that those two teams played offense.
And those two touchdowns were impressive.
Right. And so you
them.
get to 34, and then you get a fumble by Navy on the 1 yard line. Army recovers, and then Army just has to kick a field goal to win it, and ultimately they do. Stoy, you had Army, who was plus 1.5.
Let's get it.
You had them covering and winning, and I had Navy covering the 1.5. So obviously winning and covering. However, the streak has been snapped.
It's such
17 years.
It is the most Army-Navy way to snap it too, because
Absolutely.
they have never gone to overtime.
Right.
Not once in the history.
So the only way to snap it was 17-year streak of the under hitting, and still an absurd rate for any type of academy games. It's 95 or something like that % of those games go under. This one, like I said, took overtime, took 2 touchdowns and a field goal in overtime to get to the over. But I nailed it. This was the year.
This was the year, and I'm pretty sure I said, I'm going to bet it,
Right.
and it's going to come back.
It'll find
a way. And it did.
And
in the most tragic way.
Yeah.
The hell goes to over? Like, overtime?
Right.
Those overtime touchdowns are sweet, though. I'm not going to lie.
Fun to finally hit an over. Interesting way to get there, and really in the only way that really makes sense for that game to go over.
Yeah.
So, a good college football game, like I said, lived up to exactly what the Army-Navy hype was as far as being a close competitive game with limited scoring because both teams are so familiar with the systems. And
but I also thought the play calling specifically for Army was just for like 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
Was just putrid. You're doing this. You didn't try anything.
Right.
And then when they started throwing and trying things, oh, look at that.
It opened some stuff up.
Started winning.
Right.
And they ran all game. They could have been surprised.
Right.
That was not it.
Yeah.
Not it. But
And I don't watch enough of the other armed forces games throughout the year to know, are they a little more, do they keep it closer to the vest in these games, just knowing that one mistake can make or break? Is it a familiarity thing? It's probably a combination of a lot of things because neither one of those teams was considered low scoring during the year this year. Like they were above what they would normally even be throughout the year. I mean, a couple games for each of them under, 21 points was all on either side. So that's ultimately what led me to take the over, was just like, hey, maybe they are a little bit more dynamic and not as good on defense. Not the case when we watched on Saturday, but the over nonetheless.
I'm going to go with the under 1 because it was in regular time, not extra time.
Okay.
Yep, I'm going to steal that. It's World Cup time, so
Sure.
just saying.
You do what you got to do.
We could just not talk about the week of the NFL.
So NFL Week 14, another week where we agreed a lot, and another week. Oh, he went there. I was gonna get physically ill and then let you flush it, but that's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Next time.
I
I see what you're doing. I like that. Yeah. Gross. The Raiders come out hot. Like, went 10-0.
Yeah.
Throwing the rock, just nothing. They were not getting stopped. And then I decided to, I don't know what I did. I walked away and I made dinner, wasn't paying
It was
attention.
16-3 with 5 minutes left.
And then I'm like, what happened?
So we nailed the under. We nailed the Rams not being able to do anything. The Raiders doing some, but still not being. I mean, the total is 44.5. And even then, this game didn't get within double digits.
No. Like,
And
it went exactly how we thought it would, and then it stopped.
a couple penalties, a couple dumb plays by the Raiders.
Dumb.
Lack of ability to get a first down on 3rd and half a yard. And then a 98-yard drive from the guy who'd hadn't. I'm not sure he was ever in the locker room. He might have just got the pads on the way out to the field.
Yeah,
And
probably.
Baker Mayfield showed up Thursday night.
Showed out.
Showed out for 2 drives
Yeah.
at the end of the game. Tom Brady-esque. 2 teams in the last, I don't even know how long it was, long history of the NFL have trailed by basically two scores, but needing 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game and come back and won the game. And those games happened 5 days apart. Tom Brady leading one team and the GOAT Baker Mayfield leading the other.
Let's not that. Although I can't wait to see the
Right.
little tweets and stats later, especially on the Raiders too. We'll get some stats on them later of how bad, just abysmal they are with a lead.
So we both had the Raiders covering 6 and under 44.5. Thankfully, we hit the unders.
Hey,
Yeah.
Thursday night unders.
So that is a tie and a miss. Next up, we had the Vikings and the Lions. Minnesota will be mentioned later in the broadcast. Vegas nailed them again. Vegas has a pretty good pulse on the Vikings, it seems, for whatever reason, however reason. But the Lions, 2.5-point favorites at home against Minnesota. Gave up a lot of yards, didn't give up a ton of points, and their offense has been clicking. 31-23, I believe, was the final. 34-23. Actually, 34-23. While in doubt, because it's the Lions and how the Vikings have come back, the Lions controlled that game. Minnesota was not able to run the football at all. Lions were kind of able to do both and kind of control both line of scrimmage. Had a 3rd and 7 play action with a
So glorious.
tackle eligible in motion for a first down to seal that game.
That was awesome.
Penny Sewell.
Yeah, loved the hell.
I mean, we're
out
not
of it.
talking 3rd and 2 here, though.
No.
I mean, we ran the tackle in motion, in jet motion, and then threw him the ball. And he was so open that he had time to get 8 yards as a 6'3",
Untouched.
340-pound
touch.
lineman. But,
And he stayed in bounds, had the
did.
wherewithal to
Just
get down and stay in bounds.
Laid down, flopped down. So, yeah,
That was impressive. I enjoyed that.
we both had Minnesota covering and winning, and we both had the over, of which
We got the over.
everything hit. So, good job on the over-unders for us there. Texans, Cowboys. Thankfully, this game was not on TV. I
watched it.
And I didn't have Red Zone where I was at.
Gosh.
And so I took a nap,
As you should have.
woke up to the Lions-Vikings finish, which was on
That's
the TV.
exciting.
So I kind of watched the end of that. And then the update of the Cowboys losing. And at the time that I woke up, I believe the Texans had 1st and goal.
Oh, after the pick? Yeah.
Yes, come to find out after the pick, but like I'm
which
just
they
reading
right.
what's running on the screen or whatever. Maybe it was an in-game update or something.
Looking at the score going, well.
I'm glad I didn't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's Cowboys at home.
Yeah.
They either seem to play a really close game or it's just a blowout. There doesn't seem to be much in between, but they go 98 yards in less than 2 minutes, and Zeke finishes it off with a touchdown run to win the game. And the Texans are happy because they pretty much sealed the 1st overall pick. One more loss this week will do that for them. But
man, they should have won. They should have won that game.
Houston definitely
won that game.
Definitely covered the 17.
That was such a big number too.
Yeah.
Such a big
Which,
number.
I mean, you said that last week, and
too big.
like I don't
When have we
disagree.
Can you remember the last time you've seen 17 in the NFL?
No, I mean,
I don't even know where they got that from.
right. I mean, the thing is when Dallas has been winning against bad teams of late,
right.
you look at the Bears.
Yeah,
you look
you're
at, so
right.
like this season when they've been able to run away with games at the end, literally, they've won by 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
I just think it was a little skewed because of how they ran away.
They knew
last
they
week.
could get money on it. Is the thing? I mean,
That's
that's
probably what it was.
ultimately what it is. Vegas knew that they probably had as much money on the Cowboys, if not more, than what they had on.
Probably. But
So.
Cowboys at home, big spread, bad idea.
Yeah.
A bad idea.
So, you got the Cowboys. You got Houston covering the spread. However, you had it going under. You didn't have Houston scoring 23.
Did anybody?
I didn't have Houston scoring 23, but I had Dallas scoring 40.
So that's fair.
Ended up hitting the over. So that was about the only thing I did well this week for the first 3 games at least. We split that and remained tied. Next game, Sunday Night Football.
Because it's going to make me physically ill.
We had the Dolphins -3 at the Chargers, 52.5. That was the total. Tua will be another person brought up later in the
Dolphins. There's a theme.
show here, and as will Herbert. But one quarterback showed up, and the other one
Did not.
pooped himself.
Probably his worst game of the season.
Well, I mean, there was last week. There's a trend.
You're not wrong.
So Miami obviously did not cover. Scored late to make this game look more manageable than what it actually was, because I watched most of this game and
It wasn't anything. Not good.
there's a lot of love for Herbert, but he earned it in this game.
He did. He balled out.
Yeah,
What we can
he
say.
slung it around the yard.
They should have done that last
in
week,
Big
but
moments, and they made plays, and the Dolphins did not look good ultimately.
No, they looked just really bad.
So we had the over of 52.5, and we had Miami on both ends of the -3, and we missed all of them.
So we went over. That's good.
So but in a bad way.
Yeah, we need like a negative goon lock.
There we go.
Because, wow.
Yeah.
That was-
So we
So we continued that train.
if you faded, you were good. So then the Patriots, 1.5 point favorites on Monday night, went into Arizona. Kyler Murray got hurt,
Yes, him tearing his ACL changed.
but I mean Colt McCoy did fine.
I know, but
The second half,
it changed things.
what changed things was the fumble.
No, I mean that too.
If they score on that drive, the game's completely different. The Cardinals probably actually won the game. Instead, Hopkins fumbles, doing I'm not sure what with the football,
Yeah,
and the Patriots scoop score.
it was not taught.
Then that's what flipped that game.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was yelling at the sideline, ignoring play calls again, which was fantastic.
I see a trend happening.
I the Cardinals we know are bad, and the Patriots
Aren't much better.
they'll come back later as well. You hit the under of 44.5, and I had the over.
And that's it right there. That was the ball game. Came down to Monday Night Football.
That over under is what it came down to. So shitty shot. We'll click back real quick to college football. Just a quick reason why Stoy is also holding a shitty shot here. The Heisman Trophy, which not a ton of interest in overall. Things kind of with injuries and whatnot, the way the season kind of unfolded. Nobody really cared that much. Every year's a little bit different, but this year it felt like even more so. But at the beginning of the year, as I had USC making the college football playoff, which they did not, I also kind of doubled down on that in the fact that thinking that they would make the playoff, Caleb Williams would win the Heisman. Caleb Williams did still end up winning the Heisman. As retribution for that, Stoy is partaking in a shitty shot today with me. So, which thought I'd share that real quick. Besides that, I don't think either one of us, nor anyone else out there, really wants to hear about the Heisman, because I don't know that if they just didn't give one this year, I don't think anybody would have cared.
Not at all.
So,
Not at all. Not this year. Was not exciting because
for
of injuries.
For the week, Stoy was 5-10, and I was 4-11. 3 of those being total bets.
Oh, really
instead
good.
So
Really
yeah,
good stuff.
fade the fade.
Well, screwball peanut butter.
Yeah.
Screwball. Always delish.
To the misfits, black sheep, and screwballs.
There you go.
Here.
You're here. All right. Bets of the week, though. Tennessee decided to not show up. They're in a downtrend too. Pretty sure they're on the list. So that money line lock didn't hit. Cole with Seattle also on a conversation later.
Yeah.
Spread lock +9 with Denver and KC. Look at your boy picking Denver. Ooh.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
I mean,
They
when
were
you get
only
down
down
to the
20
Chiefs
what-
28-0,
Yeah.
you always expect to
you
cover.
always expect to cover.
Yeah.
So that happened.
The Chiefs tried to pull an old Atlanta trick
They
there.
sure did.
Mhm.
They sure did. Actually, no, we moved on. It's a Raiders trick.
Oh.
It's not Atlanta. The stat will show later.
Oh, that's fair.
It's proven that. But Denver just still didn't look good. I don't care about what Kansas City.
They scored
did.
28 points.
I know, which is the most they've scored.
It's like twice as much as they usually score.
Almost 2.5
Almost
times.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. Then their quarterback, in the words of Robbie Unger, went thippies on the field.
Oh, yeah.
He was seeing things. The crazy thing to me was the size of the knot on his head.
Yeah, you shouldn't try to dive straight.
Oh. No. You shouldn't. Also, you could just slid like normal.
Oh, he's trying to show some toughness.
Yeah. Oh, finally? All season?
Hey,
Yeah.
better
well,
late than never.
you know. So, yeah, he got concussed. But anyways, covered. And then Philly. My Lord.
I mean, we got the
'Cause
best team in football, and you got the team that is also going
The
to be mentioned
Giants
later.
are doing
Giant
what the
things.
giant things do.
Mm-hmm.
And, I almost don't feel, actually I don't at all feel bad for New York fans because they've got, like the Mets do the same shit.
Right.
Just falter at the end.
Right.
That's what's happening with the G-Men. Over under lock, Cincy Cleveland, under 47.5. That was kick. It was easy stuff. Cole missed the Kansas City Denver because
Just barely.
just barely.
Well, I mean, here's the
You're
thing. Kansas City scored how many?
34.
Right. So,
And you're thinking
Should've been
34-10?
should have been 31-10.
Max? Like that. I liked it.
No, I don't.
Just saying that it didn't happen.
No.
And then DJ pick with for me was Minnesota and Baltimore at +379. Wow, that's that was unfortunate. And then yours was DJ pick with Cleveland, which didn't. I mean, that's a normal ass.
Deshaun Watson. We'll talk later.
He's not good.
We'll talk later.
So that's our recap.
Recap.
Short
Boom.
one.
Well then, it's time.